my friend. I am taking you through a scene from Glacier National Park in Montana. So I'm working in gouache on a sketchbook. It's a tan colored sketchbook. I'll leave my supplies in the links below the video. But hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you checking in on my channel, and I hope that you find this video inspirational. So I started with the sky and then came in with that mountain there, which I made it a lot more blue than it actually looks in that photo. Yet on my screen that I was working off of, it looked quite a bit bluer. Coming in with dark greens to build the masses of those pine trees. Just building it up really dark to start. That is a really nice brush I'm using by Princeton. It's called a Snap, and it's got a great chisel on it that I'm able to make those pointed tops with. And it is a 1/2 inch. It's called the Stroke, but it is called Snap is the name they have on it. And it's a great brush. You can see I'm building all those real fine line tops of the trees just by turning it sideways and getting a really beautiful chiseled look, like some trunks, tree trunks in different areas. So I actually am only using 3 brushes through this whole painting. So still designing that shape of the trees, then these are up a lot closer. Dark green trees, going real dark to start, tempting to leave some of those sky holes. I do like working in gouache. I actually appreciate the fast drying time. Though I'm an oil painter most of my life and I love painting wet into wet, this is just really fun for me to start experimenting with this gouache and seeing what I can get with it. It's just quite fun. Really, this is my fun work here. Though some of these gouache studies do turn into larger oil paintings, but I start with the whole idea of just enjoying myself. Not that I don't enjoy my oils, but you know, I'm usually working on deadlines or being pressured by the timetable. Now I'm using another Princeton there. It's a real nice Princeton round brush. It's a number 6 and it's also called the Snap. They're really nice little brushes for gouache. I don't use them in my oils. I only use them for the gouache. And moving down into the foreground, just getting some coverage with a more vibrant green. I will tell you, Glacier National Park is the greenest place I've ever been. Beautiful, lush green. It's amazing. It's a little bit magical in my opinion. And just coming up with some lighter strokes. And really, when I built this foreground, shorter, smaller strokes back further, and then larger strokes up front with that flat brush, but letting some of the dark show through. And you know, it dries so quickly, you can just start on that right away. I'm putting a little bit of some blues into the trees. Just came in with a little bit of coolness. Some of my blue and maybe viridian green. Working a little bit of detail. Now I mixed up a nice little gray tone and just developing some tree trunks for detail. Breaking them up. Just keep trying to add more of that organic, kind of dry branches or tree trunks that have fallen. Bring in a few highlight greens onto some of the trees. Not overdoing them. I don't want to make pretty little Christmas trees. These trees are very strong character-wise because they contend with freezing temperatures through the winter. So some of them show that in their age and their trunks that don't have much on them. A small little pine tree in the foreground I thought was kind of cool in this picture. I've actually painted this picture from a little bit different vanishing point in oils. I'll show you that image at the end of this video. Now I'm really intensifying that green. I just really do enjoy working with greens in gouache. For me, it's pretty easy. In oils, I think greens are a lot harder to contend with, but there's something about gouache that makes those greens a lot easier to work with. Now I am using like a twiggy brush here or a very fine liner brush. I've been using them for years and can't really buy this brush anymore, but it does have a long fine liner on it. Just lots of little brush strokes in the foreground, building that very front foreground up, just tweaking out a little bit of detail. Most of it is done in the foreground. I did a little bit in front of some of the trees, but back and forth, and I've changed colors multiple times from really light green to a more medium green, and cutting in around that little pine tree with it and bringing in some warm tones. I'll come back with dark tones and some darker strokes of that front foreground. Detailing a little bit of the trees. I think the time span of this painting was about an hour and a half. Is about what it took me to finish this piece. Now, there's a few little flowers in the foreground, so I'm just putting in, I don't know what they are in this picture, but I'm just suggesting some little white blooming organic growth. They might be daisies. Not overdoing it, but selectively picking where I want them, and then I threw a little bit of yellow wildflowers in here and there. Not overdoing it again. Knock back some if you get too many. The beauty of gouache, it dries so fast. If you didn't get one knocked back in time, you can just cover it up. It's such a free medium. Peeling off that tape. See that finished work. Now up close you can see some of all those brush strokes I was making when building those little flowers and working out some of that foreground. Lots of little brush. I'm not too happy with the fog back there. I'm just gonna have to come back in right here at the end and work with that hard edge. So I came back in. Trying to match that color exactly is not an easy thing. It was really a struggle for me to do that, so I really worked hard at that. It's very hard to match those gouache colors again. And then you can see the image there on the left in my notebook. And like I told you, these sketch pads are just for fun for me. It's how I enjoy time of just working on something that's maybe not a deadline, but just inspiring to me. And I make little notes in this. This won't ever go, on sale or for sale. It's just for me. It's when I have fun. Not that I don't have fun with oils. Here is my oils, 16 by 26 oil that I painted. It's the same area, a little bit different perspective. You can see my gouache palette here, pretty rich color, just green, blues, and touches of red really is what went in there, and yellow. My brushes I talked about. I will put the description of all of these supplies and I want you to be inspired, my friend. Thanks for watching.